This might be my favorite summer homework sheet. I love factoring. It's super important. We'll do it some in geometry. You'll do it every single day in Algebra 2. So if you did not take Algebra 1, then this is something completely new to you. If you did take Algebra 1, you should remember it. You did it all of fourth quarter for the most part. So you should already know what you're doing. I'm going to show you how to do number 12. Now, I'm going to go over what's expected on 5 through 12. So 5 and 6, all you're doing is finding the greatest common factor. What that means is that you're finding the highest number and the highest variable that can come out of every single one of these. You'll see that in number 12, what we're doing. Number 7 and 8, the way that you're going to do something like that is you're going to put parentheses around your first two terms and your last two terms. And then you're going to factor out the greatest common factor. Again, the highest number and the highest variable that can come up. Again, you're going to see that in number 12. Number 10, I did not mean to give you. I thought that I had changed that and I must have been wrong. So I'm so sorry. Number 10, I did not mean to give you. It's not something that we'll work with in geometry, although it is something that you'll need to know for Algebra 2. So if you don't know how to do number 10, that's okay. If you do, amazing, great job. We're going to look at number 5 because number 5 incorporates what you need to be able to do for 7 and 8. You'll see that. And it makes it a little easier for the rest of them. You can do number 9 exactly like I'm teaching you if you put a 1 in front of it. So if you've never factored before, all of these 9, 10, 9, 11, and 12 can all be factored the exact same way. What we're going to do is we are going to multiply our two numbers, our two outside numbers together. So 5 times 14 is 70. Now notice that's a negative 14, so it's a negative 70. So we are looking for the two numbers that multiply to negative 70 and add to a positive 3. Now, to get two numbers to multiply to a negative number, it's got to be one positive and one negative number. I'm going to list the factors of 70 up here. So my factors of 70 are 1 and 70, 2 and 35, 5 and 14, 7 and 10. So we're looking for, these are the two numbers that multiply to 70. Now we need to see which one of those would add to a positive 3. Remember, one of these is negative. So one is positive, one is negative. I'm going to notice that if my 7 is negative and my 10 is positive, that if I added them together, they would equal to a positive 3. So negative 7 times a positive 10 multiplies to a negative 70, adds to a positive 3. That's how we're getting our factors. What we're going to do now is we're going to use those numbers. And because I just showed you the negative 7 plus 10 equals 3, we, instead of using 3r, are going to change it. We're not changing the equation. We're just changing it so that it's something we can use. I'm rewriting the first term. And instead of 3r, I'm doing negative 7r plus 10r. You should agree the negative 7r plus 10r is 3r. We've just broken it into something that we can use. So here, what we've done is I've multiplied my two outside numbers. We're just in purple. Figured out what two numbers multiply to a negative 7 and add to a positive 3. So my two outside numbers, they multiply, and it's what it adds to the middle number. We saw that was a negative 7 and a positive 10. So we broke 3 up into negative 7 and positive 10. Now, just like we would for number 5 or for number 7 and 8, we're going to put parentheses around our first two terms and our last two terms. We're going to find the highest number that comes out and the highest variable. So the highest number, what number can divide into both 5 and 7? Well, they're both prime numbers, so only a 1. I have two r's here and I have one R there. So notice the highest variable that I can take out is an R. Oh goodness. My PC is running low on battery. Please give me 1 second. I'll take it care of. All right, so notice that the highest variable I can take out of both of them is just an R. Then I'm taking 1 out. So 5 divided by 1 is 5. I had 2 R's. I took 1 out, which means 1 is left. Minus because of this minus. 7 divided by 1 is 7. I had 1 R. I took 1 out. There's no more R's left. Then I'm going to add because of this addition. What's the highest number that can go into both 10 and 14? So the highest number that can go into both 10 and 14 is 2. I have 1 R here, but no R's here, which means that I cannot take an R out. We start our parentheses again. 10 divided by 2 is 5. I had an R and did not take any out, so I still have 1. Negative 14 divided by a positive 2 is a negative 7. Now, when we look at this, we need to look at our parentheses. Are our parentheses exactly the same? If they're exactly the same, then we rewrite that parenthesis. So I rewrote this because they're both exactly the same. This 5R minus 7 is being multiplied by an R. And this 5R minus 7 is being multiplied by a plus 2. So now you've factored it. Factoring can work the exact same way for 9 and 11. And 7 and 8 started basically where purple is. And you would do the exact same thing for blue and red. So I've basically taught you how to do 7, 8, 9, and 11, all by using number 12. Now, if you're struggling with that, I know that there's a lot of videos on YouTube on Khan Academy. If you've never factored before, you might need to watch some of those. If you have factored before, then this should be sufficient for you. Have a great day, guys.